Huh?
How are you?
Fantastic.
That's good.
Fantastic.
Seems like the last two games, it's been pretty much followed a pattern of Rodney, Sebo back and forth on the drives. Just kind of what are you looking for in alternating those two guys? Is there an element of preservation with Rodney to maybe not ride him too far, or just what are you trying to get with going back and forth between the two?
Well, here's what I'll say. You know, everything we do, we evaluate, and we look at it closely, and so nothing's off the table. You know, we look at it, we'll make adjustments, and those guys have played well. But you know, when you get in the situation we're in now, we're looking to see each person, each room, who can do more, who can do what they're supposed to do better. So we evaluate that stuff, and we'll see where it goes.
Andre, looking at North Carolina's defense, would you say they made some big improvements on that side of the ball, especially against the run this year?
I'd say they're real big, for sure. Yeah, they're better. They're better. They're not an overly complicated defense, so it allows their guys to play fast, and they're talented. So, you know, they look like the typical North Carolina defense. And we got a big challenge in front of us to score some points. We know their offense can score points, and we got to score some points this week.
And in addition to scoring points, I mean, I have to assume time of possession is going to be pretty important this week as well.
Well, scoring points is more important than time of possession. We got to get the ball in the end zone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Andre, from that standpoint, what's missing offensively?
Well, you know, one of the things we got to do again, you know, we're mature. We got some guys that have a good mentality on offense, and we look at every position, we look at every room. We don't point the finger. We say, what can I do better? How can I be more detailed? And that's what we got to do. We got to be more detailed. We got to do more.
while the passing game is struggling, how are you seeing your running backs contribute in pass protection and presenting themselves as options for Phil?
Just like everything else, we got to get better. We got to do more. You know, the good news is we have not had any situations where we were mis-ID'd and let a guy run through. We've got to block better. You know, our quarterback has to feel comfortable in the pocket, and we're part of that. And the other thing is, when you get in the passing game, we got to make plays, and not just routine plays. Anybody here can catch a ball right in their hands. We got to make the play that's not routine, and that goes for every position.
The defense loading the box against the run is nothing new. But if Cincinnati and West Virginia gone over the top a little bit as far as putting an extra guy down close?
It's just typical. You know, defenses match personnel normally. You put big people in the game, they put big people in the game, so that's nothing unusual.
Pat said that Daniel can kind of play a third down back role. What makes him a good fit for that stuff?
Well, Daniel's really smart. The last 2 weeks, it was a scenario where some of the third down pressures were a little bit exotic. And so Daniel does a really good job of sorting it out, communicating with the line, and so that's why he was there.
You feel he's done a good job in that role so far?
He's done a good job, yeah.
When I look at Rodney, I look at a guy that looks like a power runner. He looks like a guy he's a guy with you. The more you feed him, the more he wears down a defense. Does it take away from his ability to do that when you guys are splitting carries, or is that something that can still be a fact of the game if you guys are just in better positions to run the ball later?
Well, let me ask you this. What makes you say that? That Rodney's a power back can wear down? He's never been a guy who's had 20 carries in a game.
True, but when I've seen him come in the late part of games when Izzy was the top running back, I've seen him continue to bowl people over.
So did Izzy wear out the offense, the defense, or did Rodney wear out the defense?
It's a good question.
Yeah. So here's the deal. All the guys in my room are capable. Just like everything else, we evaluate and go, how can we do this better? How can we put our team in a better position to win? So all those things we evaluated, and we'll make all the necessary adjustments to make that happen.
Did Rodney not wear out the defense last year against Syracuse?
I can't even remember the Syracuse game.
Okay. That was his game he started. He ran for like 120 yards.
I can't even remember the Syracuse game. In fact, I'm thinking about North Carolina, not Syracuse.
Understandable. I was just asking.
When a team loads the box like that, Andre, what do you do as a coach? What's your alternative?
Here's the thing. When they load the box and you're running the ball, the defense has no layers. So if you crack a run, there's no layers. Some of the things you can do is run, action, pass, and pass them all. There's lots of options. And we've utilized some of those options. We just, for one reason or another, we're just a hair off. Mm-hmm. And we're working vigorously to get that corrected.
So when you say a hair off, you feel like you guys are you're real close. It's just
Every room can contribute. the coaches contribute. Maybe we call the play, it's not a good play. Maybe the tackle's a step off. Maybe the back didn't see it. Maybe the receiver's a step off. It's a lot of things. And so I know from the standpoint of the people in the stands and the people that are watching TV, it's easy to point the finger at what they think the problem may be. But we've got issues where we just all have to be on the same page and all have to do more.
Anything final for Coach Powell?
Caleb's taken a lot of steps, I feel like, in the last couple weeks as a punter. What have you seen from him that's allowed him to become such a productive weapon on fourth down?
It's just his time. I mean, he hadn't punted much, and the more he punts and the more he gets comfortable back there, the better he'll be.
What has impressed you on punt coverage and kickoff coverage so far?
Well, our gunners can really run. And when you protect the punter and he can get the ball high up in the air, then there's no punts to cover, you know, and that's our goal. Fix it where there's no punts to cover. We're trying to create fair catches. And so the effort's been fantastic.
Who's the fastest gunner?
We got some fast guys. I don't know. That's a big good foot race. I don't know who's the fastest, but we got some guys that can run.
What do you like that Kenny Johnson gives you in the return game?
Kenny can run. You can't teach a guy how to run fast. And he's just like Junko. The more he does it, the better he sees it. And he's a young guy. He's not playing a ton of plays, so he's not worn out or beat up. So he's fresh when he goes in the game. And he's going to make more plays as we go down the road.
You watch all offense and obviously special teams. But him as a freshman, has he impressed you with his maturity and how he's come in? And
Yeah,
since he
I
got
mean,
here?
he's never on the list. He's always on time. He's always got a smile on his face. He's always coming by. He's probably in my office right now. Coming by to see what he can do more. So, those you can win with those guys.